Well, it is our custom to gather every Monday, in fact every day at this time, for a celebration of Eucharist at noonday. And today we're a little different. It seemed a day to change our patterns just a little. And so we have framed our prayers and our reflections around prayers for peace and reconciliation. And as well as in a few moments when we gather around this altar and ask God to bless this bread and wine made holy and to send us out to be beacons of love and justice and compassion in the world. Like so many others, I know I wrestled through a complex set of emotions over the last 18 hours. I had relief at the news that Osama Bin Laden had at long last been apprehended. I was proud of the resolve of our president speaking for the White House. I was anxious about the impact of these actions on the fragile state of world affairs. And I was queasy at the outbreak of triumphalism that I saw. And it was best captured in a comment on my blog. The commenter wrote, "I understand a sense of justice being done. I understand a sense of relief. But I'm saddened to see celebrations like after a football game. It isn't that the man didn't deserve it. He did. But we have to ask, what does it do to our own souls when we rejoice at the death of even a clear enemy?" And so today, Monday, is my regularly scheduled day to preside at Noon Eucharist, and I woke up thinking that we needed not to do business as usual. So I love our tradition. I love that when the going gets tough, the tough can reach for the prayer book. And it hasn't failed me yet. So in a few moments, we're going to enter into a time of reflection and prayer, a little different than what we normally do at this service. Prayers will be offered from our Book of Common Prayer for peace and reconciliation, and then we will move to this altar again to receive the bread and wine made holy. And I am more grateful at this moment that I can have words to express, that I have a liturgical container for all of those complicated thoughts and feelings, anxieties and fears, reliefs, and all the rest of it, to come together in common prayer and worship, and again to come to this table and ask God to feed us and to send us out. I have the privilege of offering to you this afternoon a statement from the rector of All Saints Church at Bacon, who is on sabbatical. It is being offered on behalf of the rector, wardens, and vestry of All Saints. And I offer it now to you in the context of this liturgy and in hope for God's call to all of us to go out into the world as people of peace. The killing of Osama Bin Laden on May 1st, 2011 presents an important moment of reflection, prayer, and action for peace-loving people around the globe. We understand and share in a sense of relief and visceral satisfaction that Bin Laden's physical voice is silenced. A mass murderer is dead. As the mastermind of the 9/11 terror attacks and the founder of Al-Qaeda, Osama bin Laden was the international icon of violent extremism and global terrorism for a decade. Almost 3,000 victims were killed in the 9/11 attacks, representing more than 90 countries. Not only did bin Laden's evil plot result in untold physical and emotional suffering, he hijacked and distorted Islam itself, falsely portraying it as a religion of violence. President Obama was correct in saying that bin Laden was not a Muslim leader. He was a mass murderer of Muslims. At the same time, Jesus calls us to a new way of being. I say to you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. Dr. King put it in these realistic terms. Violence is impractical because it is a descending spiral ending in destruction for all. Violence breeds more violence. An eye for an eye definition of justice does not interrupt the spiral of violence that takes us all down to destruction, where there are no winners, only universal loss and destruction. That is the nature of our interconnectedness today. The nature of the global network of terror demands that perpetrators be captured and brought to trial under the rule of law. The rule of law must prevail over the rule of war. The book of Proverbs teaches, "Do not rejoice when your enemy falls, and do not let your heart be glad when your enemy stumbles." We must today see the dangers and distractions of triumphalism in celebrations of another's death. Rather, we must rededicate ourselves to a united international effort to replace policies of retaliation and humiliation against enemies with passionate and imaginative diplomacy.